Hello, we are watching the news broadcast daily, and following are today's headlines.
Vietnam General Confederation of Labor holds Congress to set out orientations from now to 2018. Forces of Vietnam and China have jointly inspected fishing operations in the common fishery zone in the Gulf of Tonkin. Trade balance returns to a surplus of $200 million for July.
The 11th Congress of the Vietnam General Confederation of Labor for the 2013-2018 tenure opened in Hanoi on July 28th. It looks to develop a strong contingent of workers and better protect their legitimate rights and interests. We have more on the event.
950 delegates representing nearly 8 million trade union members nationwide and delegations from foreign trade union organizations, including the World Federation of Trade Unions, attended the Congress. During the last 5 years, trade union organizations took part in building legal documents, policies and regulations relating to workers, especially the 2012 Law on Trade Union and the 2012 Labor Code. The unions have also worked hard to take care of laborers and protect their legitimate rights and interests. The organizations encouraged and supported fishermen to establish fishing associations in coastal localities, contributing to defending the country's sea and island sovereignty. Present at the Congress, Party General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng stressed that in the socialism-oriented market economy, the trade unions should well perform their role as the representative of workers and laborers, protecting their legitimate rights and interests. He urged trade union organizations to pay more attention to promoting the exercise of democracy at the grassroots level and encourage workers to exercise their right to mastery. The same day, the Congress elected the Executive Board of the 11th Vietnam General Confederation of Labor and heard a report on amendments and revision to the organization's charter.
Forces of Vietnam and China have concluded their largest joint inspection of fishing operations in the common fishery zone in the Gulf of Tonkin. The inspection trip, the eighth of its kind, closed on July 26th. We have more.
During this trip, Vietnamese and Chinese officers jointly patrolled through 7 places they had agreed in the common fishery zone in the Gulf of Tonkin. They found out that fishing activities have been orderly and fishermen stringently abided by the fishery agreement, which was signed between the two countries in 2000. Under the agreement, the common fishery zone of the two countries covers an area of 33,500 square meters. It stretches southward from the parallel of 20 degrees north with a breadth of 30.5 nautical miles from the line of delimitation of both sides. Joint inspection and patrol are regular tasks. During this trip, we have together helped both sides fishermen understand that they need to respect and voluntarily follow agreed regulations on fishing at sea. Over the years, fishermen's violations in the Gulf of Tonkin have decreased year on year. During the trip, the officers shared experience of monitoring fishing vessels operating at sea. They kept each other informed of the observance of the fishery agreement by their fellow fishermen. Activities to ensure marine safety and maintain security in order for fishing operations in the defined waters in the Tonkin Gulf were reported. At the end, this trip sought ways for higher efficient coordination in implementing the joint patrol regulations towards preserving and exploiting the living resources in the defined waters in a sustainable way. It contributed to maintaining order and security in the common fishery zone.
The General Statistics Office has reported that the trade balance returned to a surplus for the month of July, reaching $200 million. Let's take a look.
The improvement helped narrow total trade deficit in January to July to $733 million, which is equal to 1% of the country's total export value. In the first 7 months of this year, the country is estimated to reap over $72.7 billion from exports, increasing 14.3% year-on-year. Meanwhile, it imported over $73.4 billion worth of goods, increasing 15% from the same period in 2012. Foreign direct investment enterprises still remained a driving force for the import-export activities, and the sector recorded a trade surplus of nearly $7 billion so far this year. Its exports were over $48 billion and imports more than $41 billion. The country exports staples in the 7-month period were mobile phones and spare parts, garments and textiles, electronic products, computers and components, and footwear. Its key imports were machinery, equipment and spare parts, electronic products, computers and components, petroleum, raw material for textile and leather.
The Asian Hội An city in central Quảng Ngãi province has become the first Vietnamese city to twin with the German counterpart, VNA. An agreement to this was signed recently in a German city.
Chairman of the Hội An Municipal People's Committee, Lê Văn Giảng, said that the close relationship between Hội An and VNA will bring about practical interest for both sides in various fields. Meanwhile, VNA Mayor Peter Gafford said the Vietnamese community in Germany has integrated well into the country. In particular, a number of Vietnamese students have achieved high academic results, and they are among the best foreign students in the city. Following the signing ceremony, the officials attended the Lantern Festival's opening in VNA. Thousands of lanterns from Hội An lit up the city until July the 28th, while local residents got a chance to see Vietnamese art and martial arts performances. Hội An was recognized as a World Heritage Site by UNESCO in 1999.
The first cross-country blood donation campaign, known as Red Journey, has collected over 10,000 units of blood for needy patients. It began in southernmost Cà Mau province on July 7th and ended on July 28th in Hanoi. We'll see how it's done.
Traveling through 15 cities and provinces for 22 days, 5,000 volunteers of the campaign arrived at My Dinh National Stadium in Hanoi. There, hundreds of blood donors enthusiastically flocked in despite heavy rain that was on and off during the last few days. I joined the journey from Phu Thọ province as I know how helpful donated blood is toward those in need. I think this program is very practical. Sending out a message, a Vietnamese blood stream, the last day of the campaign saw young people who have regularly donated blood. This is the 8th time I have donated blood. I realized that what I can do to help others, I should do. During the 22-day journey, over 100 talks on blood donation were organized, while 20,000 leaflets were delivered to raise public awareness of the good deed and inherited autosomal recessive blood disorders. Passing over 2,000 kilometers, the delegation has collected over 10,000 units of blood. The sum assisted us in promptly dealing with the shortage of blood in July. The volunteers have encouraged the participation of tens of thousands of people to join the effort. Presently, over 5 million Vietnamese people are affected by autosomal recessive blood disorders, more than 20,000 of whom need regular treatment. Each year, Vietnam needs more than 1.7 million blood units for treatment, while the blood collected only meets half of the demand.
And that's the end of our news today. Thanks for watching and see you next time.